All right, today we have some exciting stuff that we're about to go over. We're going to interview Jordan Freed from NFT.com here on NFT Alpha. We're going to learn all about the project, all about the website, and about what they have going on. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, and just for reference, this is our first interview ever, and we wanted to wait till, we got some, obviously, Gary V, you're invited, some of these, but this is the guy who owns NFT.com. And man, talk about a hot URL. So we definitely had to talk to him.
Guys, thanks for having me. And I'm honored. And if I can help get Gary V on here, I will. I'll shoot him an email for you.
Hey, you know what? We'll corner him at VCon. We'll force him into the yes. But yeah, we're here, we're talking, and we want to learn a little bit more about what NFT.com is going to be. Are you trying to make, some sort of minting page? Is this a marketplace? Is this just a, little bit of all the things in NFTs? What is NFT.com?
Yeah, so first we got to recognize where we are. Almost no one in the world has purchased an NFT yet. There's less than 5 million people in the entire world who have purchased an NFT in April of 2022, but that's going to change. Anyone who's listening to this that's lucky enough to be alive in 15, 20 years is going to own an NFT. We also believe how NFTs are being used today is not how we're going to be using them in 10 or 15 years. One, everything of value in the physical world will likely be represented in the digital world in the form of a token. And two, all of these cute crypto kitties and JPEGs and doodles and, artifact clone X's, we're moving to a point where they're tickets to conferences, right? Like Gary V's VCon and things of that nature. So we need a better platform. And with Web3, we need to re-architect and rethink the relationship that we as users have with the platforms that we use. YouTubers suffer at the hands of YouTube every single time they arbitrarily change their algorithm. Your videos could get shadow banned. You could get demonetized. The same thing happens in Google search. The same thing happens on Amazon. If Amazon launches an Amazon Basics product that competes with an FBA seller on their platform. In Web3, we have an opportunity to empower users, to empower people who are contributing the most value to a particular platform. That's what NFT.com is. So it's a little bit of what you said. Yes, it's a marketplace. Yes, you'll have a profile. Yes, that profile is your gallery or your storefront if you're a creator. But it's very different and very distinct in that it's a DAO. Users will be in control. Users can make the decisions. It's not like Jordan's the CEO of NFT.com. Anyone that's part of the ecosystem is the CEO of NFT.com and can come and make those decisions with us.
All right, so you're making a stand that you're not going to be evil supervillain and shadow ban us, are you?
Well, I think the Batman quote is, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. Okay. So I'm hoping not to die, but I think if you set things up in the beginning, you can prevent the evil from happening, right? Google got too big. Their philosophy was don't be evil, don't do evil.
Used to be.
And Google's the most evil. Google's the most evil platform on the planet. Yeah, you get free email and you get free searches, but they know every bit of detail and they have every bit of data about you, and they monetize you. They sell you. They read your emails. That's a perversion. It was never supposed to be that way. The internet was never supposed to be that user experience. With NFT.com, you come to NFT.com, you don't give us your data. And frankly, you mint an NFT that is your profile, and that profile is the primitive of your digital identity.
That's pretty cool. So talk to me about, or talk to us about this DAO. Like, how are you going to keep it completely decentralized and allow the DAO to make those decisions without you or some other kind of centralized entity to come in and kind of do a hammer down? No, this is how we're going to do it. Like, how are you going to allow those decisions to be made? It's
an excellent point you're making. I think that if you look at the early Web3, if you just look at blockchain in general and how it's formed, and let's look at an early protocol like Ethereum. The decision Ethereum made in the very early days was to pursue a model of bifurcation. Bifurcation is just a fancy way of saying they split up into two separate companies. One's a for-profit company, one's a non-for-profit company. The non-for-profit mandate company is called the Ethereum Foundation. They set the standards around the Ethereum network. This is where developers submit EIP, Ethereum Improvement Proposals, for consideration. Vitalik submits them. They've got a governance process for how they get included into the code base. That's how we got ERC-20s. That's how we get ERC-721s. These are EIP proposals and upgrades to the Ethereum network. But there's this other company started the same day as the Ethereum Foundation called Consensus. Consensus went off and built MetaMask, right? The wallet that most of us use if you're using DeFi or NFTs. Consensus built Infura. Consensus is a $10 billion for-profit company dedicated to building tooling and infrastructure around, you guessed it, the Ethereum network. You need to split into those two organizations. So for us, the DAO is really the users. It's not Jordan controlling the DAO or my team controlling the DAO. It's the users of the platform. We're really focused on commercializing that ecosystem. Do we need to build wallets? Do we need to build tools? What are the opportunities for us to help, the big brands, the Chanels, the Louis Vuittons, the Rolexes, the Patek Philippe's come into the space and issue NFTs? We'll probably be the ones servicing them in a for-profit capacity, but the DAO stays with that non-for-profit mandate with users in control.
Okay, with the EIP, the P stands for proposal. Do you have a mechanism for people who do mint one of your NFTs and they are part of your ecosystem? Is there an avenue for them to propose any kind of change you might want to make? It's like, hey, maybe this font might look a little bit better this way. Let's take it to vote. Is there any mechanism for that?
Yeah, we wouldn't be a DAO if we didn't have that mechanism. I don't think anyone's a DAO if they don't have that mechanism. The users have to comment on everything, and we want that. We want that critical feedback. It's funny, I tell people, but I'm like, hey, if you like the ideas I'm sharing, join the DAO. If you really don't like the ideas, also join the DAO and tell me that and make sure that the DAO is better because of it.
All right, so where do you I'm curious to see what your roadmap is and where you envision NFT.com being in 10 years, what it's going to look like, what your expectations are, who's going to be on board, who's going to be the users, what's the landscape of NFT.com in 10 years?
I've got this crazy idea. And I think if you look at I don't know if you guys have heard of Links DAO or if you're golfers, right? But Links DAO was formed to buy a golf course, right? A bunch of people threw a bunch of money in. They're trying to buy a golf course. WAGMI United was formed to buy a European football club, right? They're trying to buy an English football club or some European football club as a DAO. And all the holders of the NFT or all the holders of the token in that ecosystem get to run that. Krause House trying to buy the Chicago Bulls right now. Whether or not the NBA will let them do that, they're still trying. All of these DAOs are forming around these really singular ideas, a collective group of people that share an ideology that are trying to do something. Constitution DAO, I think many people have heard of, tried to buy the Constitution of the United States. There's something like 12 or 13 copies of it only in the entire world, and they tried to buy one, but they were outbid. All of these DAOs, I think you can learn a lot from them. And I think the idea behind NFT.com is, what if a group of people globally distributed across the world in a decentralized autonomous organization could build a tech company the size of a Google or the size of an Amazon? I'm talking about $1 trillion tech company that creates a public utility that literally services the internet. I'm obsessed with that idea, right? Would Google be so evil if all the people who depended on Google for their income, all the small businesses that were ranking their web pages in there were in control? No way. Now, I'm not a communist. I'm not suggesting the redistribution of wealth or profits. You heard my bifurcated model. I'm a capitalist, right? I like the for-profit revenue-seeking opportunities. But I'm saying that if your small business depends on Google for search traffic, if you depend on Amazon to sell your product for income, if you depend on YouTube to rank your videos so you get the rev share in there, those algorithms should be open source. The people who upload the most videos, PewDiePie and the Logan Pauls of the world who have, the biggest followings, they should have a voice in recourse when they get randomly demonetized because the algorithm stops showing ads on their video. That's what I'm saying. And wouldn't it be so cool if we as a DAO got NFT.com on the side of a stadium, right? It's a marquee brand, just like crypto.com, just like blockchain.com, just like FTX or bitcoin.com. These are multi-billion-dollar brands. And right now it started as a year ago, just a domain name. Now it's a decentralized Discord community of 56,000 members. It's about to be 10,000 holders of a Genesis Key NFT, which is how we're launching the whole thing. What if we took that to a massive marketplace, a massively decentralized Web3 social experience, and built something that could literally contend with the OpenSeas and the Facebooks of the world? That would be pretty exciting.
Is there going to be a finite number of the Genesis keys? Because I'm just thinking in the future, what's to stop a digital currency group or a heavily funded team or firm with maybe not the best intentions? What's to stop them from minting such a high number of these Genesis keys because it's a low cost of entry? and then have undue influence? What kind of mechanisms, or is there a number? Is there a finite number?
Yeah, so there's a finite number. There's only 10,000 Genesis keys, and the Genesis key is our January 3rd, 2009 event, right? That's the date of the Bitcoin Genesis block. Genesis is the beginning, right? How do you start the beginning of a Web3 protocol? We knew that we needed to invite a bunch of others to join us and become co-founders of NFT.com in the ecosystem along with us. Right? How do you do that? How do you launch this in a decentralized way? You do a Genesis key drop. These Genesis keys do a couple things. One, it's your ticket to governance. The Genesis key unlocks your access to NFT.com. You can mint your profiles. So NFT.com / NFT alpha, or NFT.com / whatever your brand, or whatever your Jordan, or whatever you want to mint.
I want to do / Genesis and have Phil Collins sell a key from his keyboard, and then it's actually a Genesis key. Is that possible?
I like that. That is possible.
Okay.
But no one's done a Genesis key in all seriousness. I think that more people should do Genesis keys. It should be it should be the thing that gives you access and that gives you certain status. The Genesis key holders, they form the initial community. They'll decide at what rate new members get let into the NFT.com ecosystem, but they're the board, right? It's as if having a harvard.edu email address gave you a seat on the board of directors of Facebook in the early days. That now we know that didn't happen. Zuckerberg has complete dictator-like control over Facebook, but I think it would be a very different platform if users were a bit more empowered.
Now, do you plan on, with these Genesis keys, you have your own URL, NFT.com / I'll say red clothing. Is there any mechanism for me to sell other people's NFTs with red clothing, with a smart contract, maybe splitting the profits, or splitting, I get a portion of the sale, they get the vast majority? Is that built out? Is there any way of changing the percentages? Is this kind of on the roadmap, or is it going to be available upon launch?
So the V1 functionality, we're going to be rolling out functionality at a very slow rate. The first idea of having the Genesis key holders is if you have a Genesis key, you literally start attending our team meetings. That's an open product town hall for Genesis key holders, where our product team walks through what we're building. The Genesis key holders comment on it, and it's full transparency. Kind of crazy, man. It's like attending a meeting inside of Facebook or attending a meeting inside of Google. We're literally going to allow people from all over the world to comment. Now, the truth is, if you don't know anything about engineering or product development, you probably should be a little bit quiet in there so that the people who do can specialize there. But we'll have these various different subgroups: a subgroup just for marketing, a subgroup just for just for community or things of that nature. Your profile, the first functionality is it's a storefront. If you're a creator, it's a gallery. If you're a collector, yes, you will be able to list other people's NFTs in your storefront. You could list your Bored Apes, you could list your red clothing, you could list whatever you'd like there. And yes, creators will have control over what the royalties that they assign on their NFTs are, what accounts that those go to are. So yeah,
very similar to OpenSea or to other marketplaces in that respect, right? You dictate
exactly
the royalty, and then you dictate the wallets that it goes to. So that's pretty commonplace. That's pretty cool.
Exactly.
So why don't you tell some of our viewers, how does someone get a Genesis key? Like, how are you going to be the lucky 10,000? Like, what do you do? Do you mint it? Is it an airdrop? Do you have to jump through hoops?
Level 49 on his Discord.
Yeah. No, we had a pretty easy process. We had a whitelist process that ran for a while. It closed on Tuesday night. It closed on Tuesday morning. On Tuesday night, we started a whitelist blind auction that ended last night, which is why I look super tired, because we were up all night calculating the results. We just released the results. So bids came in from all over the world. Our mechanism was crazy. It had never existed, and it was an experiment, but which has been growing too quickly, and mint prices have been getting ridiculous for NFT projects. So our mechanism was all the bids would come in, we'd rank them in order from highest to lowest, and in the whitelist auction, there's only 3,000 keys that were available. The winning keys are the top 3,000, but here's the catch. They don't pay the price of their bid. They actually pay the price of the first loser. They pay not the lowest.
Right at it. Yeah.
Even lower.
3,001. You pay the price of the guy at 3,001.
Yeah, 3,001.
I'm sure that person feels great.
Yeah, that person does not feel great. We're checking in on them in real time right now. But that person, that person determined the price of the 3,000 keys. So everybody pays the same price, but everybody pays less than what they bid. Kind of a cool concept, less cash grabby. You take the median, the middle number, the 1500th bid of those 3,000 winning bids, that becomes your public sale price, which is not an auction at all. So here are the numbers. Ready? It's over. It ended. Tonight minting starts. When I say tonight, if you're watching this and it's not Friday, April 29th, I mean Friday, April 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Tonight, people will start minting, and that's at half an ETH, 0.5 of an ETH for the whitelist, and then 1.2 ETH for the public sale. Now, mind you, you guys know this space. That's half of the Moonbirds mint. I think the mechanism got validated, right? There were a lot of bids. The highest bid, guys, was 94 ETH. Someone came in and bid 94 ETH, and then others like 50 ETH. We publish all the data. So if you're interested, it's all in the announcement channel in our Discord. Go join the other 56,000 people in there, and say GM and GN and all that stuff. But pretty cool experiment. I like it, and I like that it didn't get higher than 1.2 ETH. I was really nervous it was going to get out of control. But that 3,000 first bid really came in. There weren't like 3,000 crazy people bidding too much.
Well, one thing I see a lot of successful companies do, not so much projects, but like a Yuga Labs, Alameda Research, they're reaching out to big names in the space, whether it's a celebrity investor or, more of a background investor or a large Fortune 500 company. Is NFT.com, building any of these relationships? And is there anything you can share?
Yeah, 1,000%. So we've had conversations with them all. We have conversations with professional sports franchises, NBA teams, NFL teams. We are very interested in personal seat licenses as a really solid use case, season ticket holders funding new stadiums. We are very interested in sports memorabilia. We're talking to movie production companies. We are talking to merchandise and apparel companies. We want the big brands like Nike to own NFT.com/Nike, right? It's a pretty bad ecosystem if some troll comes in and buys NFT.com/Starbucks and is like trolling Starbucks on that handle. It's better if we get Starbucks into the NFT space using NFT.com. It makes everyone else who minted a profile more valuable. It makes that profile more valuable. By the way, all those profiles, they're ERC 721s, just like a Doodle or a CryptoPunk or a Moonbird or a Bored Ape or something. You can sell them. You go take that to OpenSea or the NFT.com marketplace, you sell it.
For what it's worth, I think that's a good idea. Just to clarify, so you have held some back. For instance, I can't grab Gary V and then say, Gary V, it belongs to me. There's certain names, certain companies, Nike, for instance, that you're holding aside for them so they can enter the ecosystem.
Listen, if your name is Nike or pronounced Nikkei or whatever it is, and it's spelled Nike, I can't stop you from registering Nike and using it as a personal profile. If your name is not Nike and you have no Nike reason to have the NFT.com/Nike and you're impersonating Nike, you're probably going to get into some trouble. So you do that at your own risk. All we're really preventing is hate speech, blackmail, all the really bad things that are harmful for a decentralized community. That's what we're really stopping. The other thing to be aware of is, listen, there are international laws and precedents around this. So Samuel L. Jackson famously sued the domain squatter that was squatting on samueljackson.com. He won the settlement in ICANN. There's active ENS domain cases going on that have been litigated and that have been settled, where you cannot squat. You cannot squat on someone's name and sell it. And those aren't my rules. Those are like rules of government. So I'm a citizen of the United States, even though I'm here in Puerto Rico. Yes, we're still part of the United States. We do have to comply with the federal and then international law. So, if you buy Gary V and your name is not also Gary V and Gary V takes action, you do that at your own risk.
This has been great. Is there any, I want you to leave our viewers with a closing thought, kind of an all-encompassing message about what NFT.com is, what you guys are going to do, and kind of your mission.
Yeah. So we got to call it like we see it. There's a war happening right now on the internet. There's a war for control over the next phase of the internet. And there's multi-billion-dollar tech conglomerates, some of them trillion-dollar tech conglomerates that do not want Web3 to happen. Meta is one of them. Google is another one of them. There are a lot of companies that are established and entrenched and make a ton of money with the way things are. Blockchain itself is a decentralized cloud computing infrastructure. It's a cloud computing network. What blockchain technology allowed when we first got to use it with Bitcoin was for us to send money to someone on the opposite side of the world without Visa, MasterCard, without Venmo and Cash App and a bank and PayPal and all of those things. A tremendous concept. Own your keys, own your crypto, have 24/7, 365 access to your capital cross borders. What we see with NFTs, what we see with what else we can do on blockchains, that is that we don't need to message and we don't need to communicate with each other with having intermediaries controlling that. We don't need a centralized mail server like Gmail. We don't need centralized marketplaces like eBay and Amazon. We don't need closed source algorithms like what we have on Twitter, which can shadow ban political comments and can arbitrarily deplatform sitting presidents and prime ministers. We need open platforms. We need open source platforms that users can control. What excites me about this technology and where NFT.com sits in this is if you put users first, if users don't just check a random box to agree to terms of service, but get to mint their presence, mint their profile, control that profile, sell that profile if they want to, or build that up. In Web 2, you're building a mansion on Jack Dorsey's land, or building a mansion on Mark Zuckerberg's land, or on TikTok's land. Web 3 is about owning the land and owning the mansion. It's a really powerful concept that isn't theoretical anymore. We can do it. Blockchains are going to get more performant. We went from dial-up internet to high speed. Used to take 10 minutes to send an email, used to take 10 minutes to send some ETH and some Bitcoin. That is going to speed up. We've got Lightning, we've got Solana, we had Hedera Hashgraph. We've got better improving technology coming. So NFT.com is among this new generation of platforms. If you like any of these ideas, join us. If you missed the whitelist mint, don't worry. On May 2nd at 7 p.m., that's May 2nd at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the public mint happens. For full transparency, the whitelist mint happened at half an ETH, 0.5 of an ETH. The public mint happens at 1.2 ETH. All the numbers are transparent. Our team's default state is radical transparency. We're a fully doxed team. I'm sitting here in our office in San Juan, Puerto Rico. We're not going anywhere. We're here for the long haul, and this is a multi-year. We could be building this for decades. So join us, and guys, thanks for the interview. Thanks for listening.
Very well said, Phil Collins. Let's get you on board.
Yeah, man, that kind of gave me chills for a minute.
Yeah,
that was a great gladiator NFT speech. So I believe a lot of what you just said. So This is really cool. It's very exciting to learn about what you have going on. And I do believe that you're going to knock it out of the park. So.
Yeah, I honestly do believe NFT.com is going to be a big player. So I know you're a busy man. I appreciate making out a little slice for NFT Alpha here.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys.
I appreciate it.